would require anyone receiving money from the diaspora to obtain authorization from the Interior Ministry, with penalties of up to 10 years in prison for non-compliance and up to 20 years for offences like economic sabotage. It also caps foreign-linked funds and could affect up to 1 million Ugandans abroad, potentially even questioning their citizenship status. And now to Mogadishu, Somalia's government is threatening to restrict access to Bab el-Mandeb Strait in response to Israel's recent recognition of Somaliland and appointment of an ambassador to the breakaway region. Somali ambassador to Ethiopia and the African Union, Abdullahi Warfa, warned that any country interfering in Somalia's internal affairs will face repercussions, including potential restrictions on access to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The comments followed Israel's move to begin implementing its agreement with Somaliland to exchange ambassadors after Tel Aviv became the first country last year to recognize the breakaway region. Analysts said the statement carries significant risk for Somalia at a time when Western powers are particularly sensitive to disruptions in key global shipping routes following closure of the Strait of Hormuz. In the meantime, crowds filled the streets to welcome Pope Leo XIV this morning as he arrived in Angola, the third leg of a landmark African tour marked by a war of words with U.S. President Donald Trump over the Middle East conflict. The head of the Catholic Church is set to become the third pontiff to visit the fossil fuel-rich country, where around 44% of the population identifies as Catholic, after John Paul II in 1992 and Benedict XVI in 2009. Before his expected arrival in the capital Luanda, where billboards bearing his beaming likeness have been put up to welcome him, Leo will wrap up his 3-day trip to Cameroon with an open-air mass at Yaoundé Airport. Recall that throughout his 11-day four-nation Africa visit, the Pope has delivered pointed warnings against corruption, the plunder of the continent's resources, and the dangers of artificial intelligence, AI, as his tussle with Trump drags on. Global Box is reaching you live from Adamimogo FM Nigeria. Still to come, Iran backtracks on reopening of crucial shipping channel. Stay with us.
You are listening to Global Box on Adamimogo 105.1 Bado.
Welcome back from Quarry's breaking news and more. Please call text our news desk on 0703-496-1615. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Adamimogo 105.1 FM, Adamimogo 93.1 FM, or visit our website www.adamimogofmnigeria.com. Thanks for joining us to the rest of the news. Straight to updates in the Middle East. A convoy of oil tankers have crossed the Strait of Hormuz today, the first major movement of ships in a crucial waterway since the US and Israel launched their war on Iran 7 weeks ago. Hours earlier, US President Donald Trump had cited some pretty good news about Iran, declining to elaborate while noting that fighting might resume without a peace deal by Wednesday.
We'll see how it all turns out, but it should be good. We've had some very good discussions, and hopefully that subject that you like to talk about will be very good, and we've done a good job, but we'll see what talks are going on. It will go on over the weekend, and a lot of good things are happening. If there are, we'll have to straighten it out, but I don't think there's too many significant differences.
Recall Iran's foreign minister had announced the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz to commercial ships for the remainder of the ceasefire, shortly after Donald Trump confirmed the strait was completely open and ready for business, but that the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports would continue until a peace deal is reached. Meanwhile, Iran has reversed course and decided to close the Strait of Hormuz again after the United States continued its blockade of Iranian ports. The Iranian military announced the decision in a statement released through Iranian media. In its statement, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC accused the United States of plunder, saying the naval blockade amounted to piracy at sea. Iran had previously warned it would shut the strait if the U.S. continued blockading Iranian ports. Previously, the Strait of Hormuz, which carries about 1/5 of the world's crude oil and petroleum products, had only just been reopened yesterday after being almost entirely shut amid the Iran war. That situation had already triggered one of the most severe energy crises in modern history. Straight to the world of sports, Arsenal's coach Mikel Arteta has confirmed Bukayo Saka has been ruled out of Arsenal's trip to Manchester City on Sunday, that is tomorrow. The winger has been sidelined in the Carabao Cup final defeat to City on March 22 with an Achilles issue. Earlier this week, Arteta told reporters he was hopeful the England international would return to action in date. However, he confirmed in a recent press conference that Saka would miss Sunday's title showdown against rivals Manchester City.
Yeah, now it's been a few weeks, obviously, and he hasn't been able to train much. So he's not only been having him available, but in which condition. So we want him on the pitch as quick as we can. The moment that he can tolerate a load and the pain that he had, he will be available, and then we have to wait and see how much he can contribute.
Saka has missed the last 4 Arsenal games, but has been struggling with the problem since November. In another sports update, Nigerian midfielder Frank Onyeka is now expected to seal a permanent transfer to Coventry City. Coventry City confirmed the promotion to the Premier League on Friday night after a hard-earned 1-1 draw with Blackburn Rovers at the Aywood Park. Onyeka joined the Sky Blues on loan from Brentford in January with an agreement in place to make the move permanent if Frank Lampert's side earns promotion to the Premier League. His arrival sparked an improvement in Coventry's form, who are making a return to the English top flight after 25 years. The 28-year-old has made 11 league appearances for the former FA Cup champions. Onyeka struggled for regular playing time at Brentford before making the switch. He spent last season on loan with Bundesliga club Augsburg. And finally, on entertainment, legendary pop star Madonna surprised fans at Coachella, making a guest appearance during Sabrina Carpenter's Friday night headline set. The Queen of Pop joined Carpenter on stage for a duet of Vogue, Like a Prayer, and a song seemingly from Madonna's new album. The performance followed days of speculation that Madonna would appear at the festival in the Colorado Desert in California. Earlier Wednesday, Madonna officially confirmed the release of Confessions 2, a sequel to her 2005 Confessions on the Dance Floor. And that will be all on Global Express this afternoon. Thanks for listening. Before we go, a recap of the major top stories. First, we brought to you that the Naira has continued to appreciate from 1,355.25 Naira recorded at the end of the previous week, closing at 1,342.5 Naira per dollar, boosted by improving global sentiment and a weaker US dollar. Then we brought to you that a controversial sovereignty protection bill under review in Uganda's parliament has raised alarm among critics who say it could have far-reaching and potentially severe consequences for ordinary citizens. And finally, Iran has reversed course and decided to close the Strait of Hormuz again after the United States continued its blockade of Iranian ports. And that's Global Box. On behalf of the production crew, I am Dean Machuku on the BC. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.
Welcome to Adamimogo 105.1.
What for I got go?